If you are an accountant and you want to get more clients, but you just don't really know how to get them and what work you actually need to put in to attract more clients and to grow your firm to 6, 7, or maybe even 8 figures, then this video is exactly what you need. In this video, I'm going to break down how you can actually achieve your revenue goal. Before we dive in, I will quickly introduce myself. My name is Daan, owner of Accounting Kings, where we work with accountants to help them get more higher revenue clients. And the other day, I was talking with an accountant and she had a great service already, but she didn't really know what she needed to put in to actually achieve her revenue goal. And I explained how I actually calculate the revenue goals and how I do this for all of my clients. And she actually had a big breakthrough, which is now helping her to actually achieve her goal. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to give you the exact tool that we use to achieve our revenue goal and what our inputs are, which will then allow you to have a better overview of the work that you need to actually put in to achieve your goal. So let's dive right in. So this tool is basically reverse calculating your revenue, your new revenue that you want to attract every single month. So when you want to get more clients, there are, of course, a lot of ways you can get more clients. In this video, I will mainly discuss getting clients through paid ads, outreach, and cold calls. Of course, the vast majority of you watching, you probably get the majority of your clients through word of mouth, which is great. It's a very easy sale and it's free. But the thing is, you don't control word of mouth. It's just there waiting with your fingers crossed to hope that next week, finally, a client of yours is going to introduce you to someone. Which, of course, by just keeping your finger crossed and not having a predictable system to get more clients, is not really great way to actually grow and to achieve your goals, because by then it's just hoping. You cannot really say to yourself, this year I want to achieve X amount of money every single month in new business, because you have no system built out. So this video we are going to break down how we calculate the input that a client needs to do for them to actually achieve their goal. So let's start off with the paid ads. I'm actually going to share this spreadsheet with you so that you can put in your own numbers, which will be linked in the description below. So for the paid ads, we have ad spend, of course, that's inevitable. Cost per click, how much will it cost for you to get a click, the overall clicks you get, the landing page conversion rate, the leads, the schedule rate, and the appointments. So the red cells are the cells you do not want to touch. And you want to download this tool and then put in your own numbers. Okay, so let's say that you want to attract 10K in new revenue per month, right? Then what you need to do is you are going to reverse calculate what you do. So this is the revenue you get per month per client. Okay, so of course I know it's going to vary what you are going to make per client, but you want to take a little bit of an average. And I always say just go with the most pessimistic route, because then you know for sure if everything kind of goes bad that you will still achieve the goal. So let's say that your bare minimum fee is 1,000 per month. Let's say that this is with a small client, relatively small, and you think they have a lot of potential, so you still take them on so you can grow with them. Okay, so let's say 1,000 per month is the minimum. Okay, now we do not want to touch this cell. Over here you want to put in your closing rate. Average closing percentage with relatively cold traffic is about 30%. So if you do not really know what your closing rate is, but you do think you are good at sales because you have done it before, also outside of referrals, just say 30. But let's say that you are not really experienced with sales yet, let's say 25%. Fit rate, this is from all of the bookings that you are getting, how many are actually good fit that you want to work with. Let's say that you offer services, but you never really found a good fit with a certain industry, right? So you disqualify them after you talk with them. This is the fit rate. 85% is pretty pessimistic. Show rate, same thing. How many of the people actually show up to the appointment. 70% is also kind of a pessimistic estimate. This is something you do not want to touch. Then the schedule rate. Schedule rate is what percentage of the leads are actually scheduling meetings, right? So 30% is relatively low too. It really depends also on what type of offer you are running. And also sometimes we actually run ads direct to calendar, which are working really well. But let's say that you already have some form of a system built out, right? And you have a team. Let's say that you are able to schedule about 35% of the leads that you are getting. The landing page conversion rate, how many of the people that are clicking are actually converting. Cost per click is really depending on the industry and the area you are in. If you are located in Los Angeles, for example, you are going to pay more per click than if you are located in the middle of nowhere, simply because of competition. But you can also charge more, so the return is still there. And then ad spend. So you want to play around with these numbers over here. So you may not have the numbers yet, so you just need to do a little bit of research. But let's say that you say, okay, well, I want to attract 10K per month in new business, right? And let's say that you know that all of these are your numbers. So you now know this is my schedule rate. This is the landing page conversion rate. This is pretty doable, 15%, again, depending on the offer and everything. So let's say, okay, I want to get 10K per month. And these are your numbers, and the only thing you really have to play with is the ad spend, right? So let's say we are going to invest 55. Boom. You are currently 10K per month. So this is kind of how easy it is to calculate. And you may think, okay, well, this is huge. Like this is money I've never really invested per month in ads. But you directly see what the return will be, right? You only have to invest the 5,500 once to then get 10K in recurring revenue. That is going to be like 120K per year. So pretty good ROI if you ask me. Now, of course, this is a pretty extreme example if you want to add 10K in new monthly recurring revenue per month. But this is just showing you what this tool is all about, right? So you do need to know your numbers. You can do a little bit of research if you just ask ChatGPT and you give them a lot of context. I'm in this area, this industry, everything. You will be able to use the tool and actually, find the right spots and the right numbers and the right inputs. Because at the end of the day, it's all about inputs. And a lot of the accountants that I talk to, they have an idea of how to get clients, but they never really know their numbers, number one. And they want to do the work, but they don't really know how much work they need to put in. And you want to systemize this whole process. So if your way of getting clients is ads, then use this step over here. Then, of course, maybe you're going to do outreach. Facebook outreach, LinkedIn outreach with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You want to use the same thing. Now, let's say again, the minimum we are going to charge is 1,000 per month. Our closing rate still is 25%. Fit rate and show rate, those will be the same. Then per message we are sending, what percentage of them will book? Again, really depends on the offer, on of course how good your message is, what type of leads you are targeting. But 4% is pretty doable, especially if you're even going to call the potential clients, the leads that we're engaging. Now, accepting rate. So of course you need to send a request for you to send a message. So 20% is pretty doable. Now, request per profile, this is per month. So I think with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can send 200 minimum per week, but I wanted to kind of like, again, put in the pessimistic numbers. And let's say that you have maybe an assistant that you can use the account of the assistant too, right? Then the only thing that you really have to check is, and this is, by the way, for the ads, the outreach, and the cold calls, which I'll dive into a little later. The only thing that you have to now play around with is either just the total input. So let's say let's say that you want to get to $3,000 in new monthly recurring revenue. You can just say, okay, well, let's just do 4 profiles, or we need to actually do 5 to reach that goal. But you can just say, well, I want to, it's probably best to change the golden figure kind of thing, which with ads was ad spend, and over here we can use profiles. But now let's say that you look at the numbers and you see, well, actually, my appointment booking rate is 1%. Then it doesn't really make sense to add more profiles because you're out of KPI with anything else. Okay, so you want to only make changes to kind of like the golden figure, if I will call it, if the rest of everything is in KPI. So you want to start kind of like low, on the lower end of things, to get a proven system. So if you never run ads before, it's probably just best to just go with 1,500 per month, right? If you're going to spend 5K per month, sure, you will get data faster and you will achieve the goal faster, but you also don't want to really overwhelm yourself too much. So you want to make sure that you're really in KPI with everything. So let's say that everything is in KPI, but you just are never really able to sell and you are only closing 5%. It doesn't really make sense to spend more on ads. The only thing that you just need to do is just implement some new sales training, learn some new sales stuff, and then probably within a month of active sales training, you will be able to convert at 30%, and then boom, that's the new revenue number. So when I was actually talking with an accountant about like how she can achieve the goal, the revenue goal for her firm, and we just broke it down in reverse calculating a new monthly recurring revenue, it just really gave her a lot of clarity on what she needed to do. Because oftentimes accountants, they don't mind doing the work, especially if you came from corporate where you were working 80 hours for not that much for compensation. Like, you are able to do the work, and especially if you want to build a firm and you want to build something that is bigger than yourself, of course you do need to put in some extra hours in the beginning, and then the ball really starts rolling. But yeah, if you don't know what to do and how much money you need to spend on ads, or how much messages you need to send or profiles you need to have, then it's very hard to actually take action. Okay, so let's say that you don't want to do ads, you don't want to do outreach, but you want to do cold calls. Honestly, I've done a lot of cold calling. I don't know why someone wants to do cold calls, but it works, and it's actually a very effective way to get clients. It's just not very fun to do. It's the same thing. So let's say again, we go with the minimum of 1,000 closing rate. Let's say we are mediocre, closing at 25%. This should be around the same. Appointments, we do not want to touch this. If you are doing cold calls, it's a very easy. This is actually the fastest way to get clients, maybe even. Reason being is because you want to. It's very possible if you start cold calling in the morning to schedule a meeting for later the day and close a deal. It's very direct. But the directness of it is also the thing that sucks, because you are going to be cursed out if you do 200 cold calls per day, for example. And probably someone has a bad day. It's very direct. So that's why most people don't like it, but it is a very effective way to get clients, especially if you don't have a lot of money to spend. So let's go over here to the booking after pitch rate. So that's actually easier to start over here with cold calls. If you are going to do the calls, not everybody is going to pick up. So this should be your pickup rate, 20%, depending on the industry is doable. Pitching rate, maybe you talk with an assistant, or maybe the person you are talking to doesn't allow you to pitch. And then the booking after pitch, and then you have the appointments, okay? APPTS is appointments. So this pickup rate, 20% average, pitching rate, 25% is very doable, and also the booking rate after pitch is very doable. Now, let's say you want to, let's say that you have got a lot of cold calling experience, right? And you want to add 10K in new monthly recurring revenue, then it's probably, and this is probably going to shock you, but let's play around with the numbers a little bit. Let's see. That should be about 300. Yeah, 300-ish calls per day, which sound extreme, but then what you want to do, of course, you can just say, I have a system that works, time to hire maybe 2 cold callers that do 150 calls per day. And then you just pay them, let's say, $50 or $60 per appointment, or maybe even per show or fit. And you just do this for a couple months, and then you can literally build a 7-figure firm quite fast, right? So it's all about knowing the numbers, and that was the main reason I wanted to make this video, because I really saw how much clarity the accountant was that I was talking to when we were reverse calculating the inputs. So I really hope that this made a lot of sense. These were more of examples. You can just maybe even if you are very good at networking, right? Take the concept of this and then just fill in the number of networking events you go to per month, the number of people you approach, the number of the times you get phone numbers, the percentage of the people that you get a phone number from and actually book a meeting, right? And then you have the appointments, and then it's just basic math. Then it's just, okay, well, I want to have 10K in new monthly recurring revenue per month. Currently, I'm making, let's say, 5. Just double the number of events you go to, or look at the numbers somewhere in your whole process, look at the biggest bottleneck and fix that percentage. So if you see, okay, I'm going to 4 events per month and I only approach 5 people, but I still get a client every time I do it, then start approaching 10 people and you will double the new monthly recurring revenue. So it's very easy, of course, to see the numbers. It is going to give you clarity, but you still need to do the work. That's the hard part. But this is just more to show you how easy it actually is to find the numbers. Okay, so pick the thing that pick the vehicle that you want to use to get more clients. Can be, again, networking, cold calls, outreach, whatever it is. Write down your numbers. So with every single process, if it's connection requests, people that are accepting it, that are booking, that are showing up, you need to know the numbers. Otherwise, you can never really know the actual inputs, and you also never really know what process within the system of getting the client you need to improve. Because if you're going to, for example, say, okay, well, I just need to do 2 times more cold calls, but if, again, your closing rate is 5%, it's not the main focus, okay? So you need to know the numbers, pick your vehicle, write down the numbers, and just improve the numbers with the ones that you are in KPI with, and then this is going to make a lot of sense. So really hope that this is also giving you some clarity, as it did with the accountant I was talking to earlier. If it did, make sure that you leave a like so that the algorithm will serve you more videos like this. If you are an accountant, by the way, and you want to get more clients, but you don't have the time for all of the marketing stuff, or you just don't know how to do it, or you don't like it, and there's also another link in the description that you can click on to schedule a time with our team where we will explain you how we can help you get clients in a way where we don't profit until you do. And if you have specific questions, leave them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any other videos. Bye.